I want to talk to you about someone called Walter Tull. He was not only one of the first black footballers in England, but he was also one of the first black officers to command soldiers in battle.
He lost his life in 1918 on the battlefields of Flanders. Today, he will be remembered through a poem read by former EastEnders actor Nicholas Bailey at the Cenotaph, of course, just after 11 o'clock.
Now, Nick joins us now, I'm delighted to say. Nick, morning to you. Thanks so much for talking to us on Breakfast. Just talk to us about Walter Tull, because he was someone you found out about quite a while ago, and it's a story you refuse to let go of.
Well, this is true. Walter, well, good morning, Naga. Everybody, well, many people know about Walter today, but when I first discovered his story in 1998, hardly anybody had heard of him. I was reading a newspaper and there was a memorial football match at Tottenham Hotspur. So I reached out to Phil Vasili, who is Walter's primary historian and biographer. And from then on, we spent about 4 years researching his life together. We thought it might make a great film script. But ever since then, Walter has become a central figure, a real figure of distinction in general British history, not only around the war, but over diversity and inclusion and triumph over adversity. He was orphaned before the age of 10. He became the first black outfield footballer to play for Tottenham Hotspur, played for Clapton, played for Northampton Town. He was the first sports person to enlist in the British Expeditionary Force in 1914. And black people weren't allowed to be in the war. It was illegal in terms of military law for black people to serve, but he became a second lieutenant. He was commissioned in 1917 and was decorated and lost his life in the Second Battle of the Somme. So he was an exceptional human being, but he was a great man in any era, and he deserves to be remembered. So it's great now to be speaking his name at the Cenotaph as a guest of the Western Front Association. I'm so privileged to be here.
Yes, Nicholas, as you were talking there, you won't have seen it where you are, but we were showing both pictures of him in his footballing career and then in uniform as well. Tell us a little bit about the events today, because I know you're going to be reading a poem.
Yes, I'll be reading John McCrae's poem, a famous poem, In Flanders Fields, which was the poem that speaks of poppies. And in the 1920s, the poppy appeal began, largely due to this poem. In 1915, he's a Canadian officer and he lost a friend and sat down, wrote this poem, and then it was taken up and it took off. It's an incredible opportunity to be here today to speak a few words about Walter and all the forgotten voices, all the voices of the First World War that have been forgotten and are for groups that are not normally celebrated. Walter is really a figurehead for that, and it's a tremendous honour and privilege to be speaking his name here at the Cenotaph today.
Nicholas, I don't know if you've been to the Cenotaph before for this occasion, but I'm just seeing behind you there, people are walking past. It's a very special place, and those who've only seen it on television, which is what most people do, of course, can you give us a sense of, you know, what it's like for you being there now, just sort of looking ahead to the events?
Well, it's tremendous. I feel a real sense of presence, if I'm honest. It's something that I've seen on TV every year. I actually interviewed some veterans who are challenged by PTSD a few years ago. So every year I tune in, every day, every November the 11th, I observe the 2-minute silence. It's really important that not only Remembrance Sunday is celebrated, but also Armistice Day as well, the actual 11th of November. And, you know, the Western Front Association and other people are volunteers, they're enthusiasts, they're educational charities that speak of this. It's a tremendous honour to be here, it really is. I'm deputising for Carissima Matthews, who's not here this year, who's tremendous. You must listen to her speeches online. But yeah, it's tremendous, the real sense of occasion. I can feel it now, a real sense of pride. I just have to hold it together long enough to get the poem out.
I'm sure you will, Nicholas. It's been a pleasure talking to you this morning. I hope you enjoy your day. I know it's mixed emotions for a lot of people, but have a wonderful day there. I'm glad to see the weather is good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It will be very emotional, no doubt. Nick will be reading In Flanders Fields on BBC One immediately after the Minute Silence at 11 o'clock this morning.